Test, 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 test. What's up, man? Can you hear me? I still can't hear. I'm gonna try to figure this out. This.
All right. Can people hear me now? I believe people can hear me now. So people that are on the TikTok, can you hear me now, Dust?
Yeah, I hear you. I was having issues with my Bluetooth
So that
headset.
actually
It's great that you're.
That was actually me. My mic wasn't on properly.
Okay. Okay.
So everybody that's on TikTok, I'm also live here on YouTube, X, and everything. So if you want to see the full show, definitely come on to YouTube or X, link in my bio. We're going to talk about some very, very disturbing things that we witnessed this past week concerning with Rafa and also the U.S. response as well too. And I have Dust here on speaker. And so people on TikTok, you'll be able to hear what he has to say. You just won't be able to see his face. But if you want to see his face, come over to X or YouTube or Facebook. And what's up, guys? How's it going? Hey, Miguel, how's it going? We got Extra Bola. Is that Extra Bola? Yeah, we got some people here. We're going to have a conversation. And if anybody would like to say anything, even on TikTok or anything, let me know. It has to be pertained to the subject, though. All right. So, Dust, I wanted to play this video real quick. John Kirby's, his debacle that he had going on here. John Kirby is a useful idiot. That's the best way I can describe this guy. So let's listen to what John Kirby had to say real quick. I don't want to play all of it, but just a few minutes, just like 2 or 3 minutes.
Breaking, but you've stopped short of outright condemning this strike. Can you explain why?
We have been, I think, very strident in our condemnations about the deaths of innocent civilians. These deaths are not excused from that. But we have to understand what happened here. There's going to be an investigation. They've already said it was a tragic mistake. They're looking into it. They have been able to investigate themselves and hold people accountable in the past. We'll see what they
Investigate
do here.
themselves.
Yeah, thank you. I want to be clear, after this weekend strike, is it our assumption that nothing about U.S. policy has changed or is changing in regards to?
As a result of this strike on Sunday, I have no policy changes to speak to. It just happened. The Israelis are going to investigate it. We're going to be taking great interest in what they find in that investigation, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Investigating themselves.
We saw a good amount of international condemnation after this strike, whether it was from President Macron of France, others in Europe. We have not yet heard from the president publicly at all about this strike. Why is that?
Well, again, I think I've answered this question with Ed. You've heard the president on numerous occasions in just the last few days about what's going on in the Middle East and in other places around the world. And you'll hear from him again. I'm absolutely confident of that.
One last question. Is there any concern that the United States itself is being isolated internationally as we continue to support the operation and your allies?
One of the things that we've talked about with the Israelis are about the manner in which some of these operations are being conducted is the real danger that Israel itself could become further isolated from the international community. Just
That's
by
the
dint
biggest
of the
problem
manner
for
in
him,
which they are
Israel
conducting
becoming
operations.
isolated.
So this is of concern, clearly, because it's not in Israel's best interest, and it's not in our best interest for Israel to become increasingly isolated on the world stage. As a matter of fact, one of the things the president came into office wanting to do, and actually we had made some progress before the 7th of October, was working towards a more integrated Israel into the region.
All right. I couldn't listen to more of that garbage dust. This guy is absolutely delusional. So delusional. What's your response on the attack, and also what we just listened to, that word vomit of excuses for genocide?
I know a lot of this stuff, reminds me of the Hunger Games. It's like a show to try to justify and cover up, the reality. It's basically there's a contradiction within imperialism, and that is they claim to have the most liberal, democratic, human rights policies to justify their dominance, but in order to maintain their dominance and their super profits, they have to carry out brutal attacks and suppression on civilian populations all over the world. So it's this guy's job to convince as many people as possible to go along with imperialism and support imperialism, so they don't have to spend as much money bribing people off for attacking them. That's his job. That's what he's doing. I mean, that's.
Yep. And when they mention the money part, that's the biggest part of the whole thing. It's about how much money they are making off of keeping up a state like Israel, a settler colonial vassal state, because the weapons industry, you got the oil, it's big business. They don't want to lose that, so they're literally willing to just do everything they can to just try to pretend that this isn't as bad as the world literally sees it. And
I think it's important to note when we're talking about imperialism, when they do these destructive things, people talk about the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex. These various complexes are a way of extorting funds directly to corporations, private prisons, military. But in reality, that money is insignificant in comparison of the super profits they get from keeping people dependent and in poverty. So keeping oil off the market So their oil makes more money, is just as much as those huge profits that incentivize them to continue to carry out this business than actually the siphoning of tax dollars to their friends in the weapon industry. There's actually even bigger profits that these various money losing institutions actually gain, and that is the control and the ability to exploit various populations and nations and whole regions.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you dropped it right on the dime. Dropped it right on the dime. And I think would you say that this is like probably the first time ever that we've seen such a blatant hypocrisy in front of our eyes and involving the United States?
I mean, it depends on how it depends when you woke up, man. When you started in this struggle, you can talk with people. You could talk with people in their 80s that've been in this for decades. I mean, I became radicalized in the Iraq War, and to me, it was
Right.
that. And then in 2008, when there was another escalation of the genocide in Palestine, and then a lot of people at the school I was at could see that. Trouble seeing the problems in our own neighborhood in our own city. So I said, if they lied to you about Palestine, what else did they lie to you about? Trying to wake people up to more issues and even local issues.
Oh yeah, right. I totally agree with that. Yeah, it was definitely a sarcastic question because I guess the lead to it, is understanding like now that we're here and it's blatantly in our face, how can we continue to get people to understand what's going on, and be furious about it? How can we build class consciousness on this imperial system that is doing millions and billions of dollars in the media that they can to keep the class consciousness on a lower scale? And I that's a very, very difficult question, but I do have the optimism that we could clearly see the hypocrisy, and I think there's a way to capitalize on it to get people to fully understand what's going on. But then again, we also have to remember that the media machine is $1 billion corporation, so it's like we got to fight that. But I think like this shows clearly, clear as day, like even with Europe and 140 countries that are acknowledging Palestine. I just saw Italy Parliament. I just saw France. I mean, I always see Macron as Mr. Me Too. He likes to pretend he's a statesman. So I don't know how serious France is right now, but if they actually do recognize Palestine, then I'll be like, oh, okay, wow, sure. Because Macron is definitely a Mr. Me Too guy that wants to be like Europe's statesman. And the only statesman I know is Xi Jinping at this point. That's the realest statesman there is. Everybody else is just wannabe statesman. Talking about the attack in Rafah, I actually messaged a few people that I know that live in Rafah right now. And this is with the comrades that are part of PAL Crisis Relief. People should definitely check them out on Instagram, PAL, PAL Crisis Relief. They're basically a fundraiser and a volunteer organization that are trying to help displaced families. And I was very fearful that they were also there as well too. They're safe. Finally, I got a message back after a few days. But they like one of the volunteers definitely lost a family member. Actually, I think they lost 2 family members actually. And when you see the video, you see these kids that got decapitated from the bombs. Caution warning, trigger warning, guys. For people that are listening, I want to give a trigger warning, caution warning. I have to go into the graphic detail real quick. You saw people scorched beyond recognition. You saw babies scorched beyond recognition. You saw babies beheaded. And it brings me back to when Israel tried to use the beheaded narrative in October 7th, and they never actually showed us any of the videos. And Washington, D.C. also had to backpedal on that information and say that's actually not factually true. That did not happen. We don't have evidence that supports that claim. But yet people still believed it, though. They still believed it. A lot of people still, I mean, to this day, Piers Morgan uses it as a defense on his show. And no one's telling Piers Morgan that, like, hey, that's not true. But here we have actual proof that there were beheaded children at the Rafah camp, and the media was totally silent on this. We only learned about the information because people have phones and because there's independent journalists around, stuff like that. But the outrage wasn't even an outrage. There was no outrage at all on the level of what happened with October the 7th. And that makes me get a full understanding that Arab lives do not matter, like to the West at all. And I don't know. What was your
I don't know. I recently saw an interview with Richard Wolff, who I'm usually very critical of. I think his views on supporting European co-ops over, Chinese modeled socialism or Latin American socialism is a bit pretentious. But when it comes to this issue, which is blatantly clear on Palestine, he recently in his interview straight up said the world is with Hamas and not Israel. This is an academic from an elite institution in the United States saying the world is with Hamas. And I'm outraged. I have absolutely no outrage for Hamas. I think the Hamas is the leader of a national liberation struggle. And I mean, the U.S. Has put down many communists, the PLO, and which was a coalition with communists within it. They've put down and subverted the people's resistance, and what's left of the people's resistance is being led by Hamas. And they carried out military's precise targets to resist an occupation of their territory and continual ethnic cleansing.
Right.
They have every right to do so. So,
Dust, you're gonna have to repeat what you just said. We missed that part. But
my bad. These people are paid propagandists whose sole purpose is to justify what is unjustifiable: the mass murder of mostly children and a continuing ethnic genocide, ethnic cleansing, and occupation.
Yeah, definitely. And these people like John Kirby and Nikki Haley signing the missile, putting finish them on the missile, and it's like, really, dude, like that could be a missile that definitely went towards a family. That could have been a missile that definitely went towards a child in a field. Like these people, they say that in Washington that they are very, very, very out of touch, and this is something that people have to understand. You know what I mean? Like,
well, she wrote on there. I think she wrote on there, "America loves Israel forever." But it's very funny and hypocritical that the Israeli military has been killing Israeli settlers and trying to blame it on Hamas. They purposely put. They create new settlements and then convince Jewish people from around the world to go and move into dangerous situations where they're going to get resistance. They don't actually care about Jewish people. They don't, and Zionism, Jewish is a whole different thing. But the actual people they move in there, the so-called Israeli citizens, the settlers, they don't give a fuck about them either. They're just pawns. They're just pawns to be a beachhead for U.S. imperialism to attack whoever is competition to them in the region. That's it. They don't even give it. Like Nikki Haley is wrong about the bomb she's signing to kill the children. She doesn't even. It's not even honest that she loves Israelis if she wants to recruit Jewish people from all over the world to go and be in harm's way and be murdered by their own military for the benefit of Western capital and corporations.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nikki Haley, it was the 119th governor of South Carolina, and she's the 29th UN ambassador for the United States. And she was talking like this from the beginning. During the Trump administration, she was basically saying all the Palestinians are terrorists and how important it is that we eradicate Hamas and eradicate all. There's so many resistance groups in Palestine, though. Like, if say they was to eradicate Hamas, there's another group.
I know I got to stop you for a second. You mentioned Nikki Haley was from South Carolina, and I live in North Carolina. I often pick up in South Carolina. And rural South Carolina, we got this thing in the Carolinas we call the Rot Belt. And you look at these towns, these old brick towns, where everybody has moved out. The buildings they built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s are completely boarded up, and there's nothing there. And there's people, and there's mostly black men on the street corner walking around with little or nothing to do, with no future, with little resources, with poor education, with no jobs. And this is the state that she runs here. And I look at the light and the little bit of light industrial jobs. We're talking full production jobs. We're talking meat packing, where they used to pay $9-10 an hour, and now with the inflation and the little bit of wage increase that barely keep up with that, we got people making $14-15 an hour and getting their fingers chopped off in meat plants in South Carolina. And this is the shit that she's preoccupied. This rich white lady who doesn't give a fuck about working class and people within South Carolina. And South Carolina, it was, it's a heart of the Black Belt. It is, the first state that succeeded from the Union to maintain the poverty of Black people, to maintain slaves. And it continues to be a purposely impoverished, under-resourced state. But she wants to give all the money to Israel. I mean, these people are beyond hypocrisy. They don't care about Israel. They don't care about working class people. They don't care about their own state. These are monsters. These are monsters.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say out of touch, but I am very, very comfortable with the term monster, because they feel that they are the elites and they could rule the world, that they are the hegemon and whatever. Like you said earlier, if they need to fund extreme violence to keep control, then they're going to fund extreme violence to stay in power, because that's the only way that they can do things. They're reactionary and they don't have a plan. The plan is just to dominate and to be in power. It's just the plan. And this is why we always go against capitalism. This is why I'm a socialist. This is why Dust James is a socialist. You know what I mean? And I think it's important. I love how you mentioned the exploitation of Black, Black working, and the exploitation of how much Black people have built and what they are getting at the end in the communities nowadays with the poverty and the low education system. I definitely feel that here in Connecticut, definitely growing up too. Like, my mom had to fight to get me in the better district because of what was going on in Bridgeport, Connecticut. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very like seen when you talk about it, but they don't talk about it because they don't want you to see it. And this day and age, the Democrats, that's one thing that really, really pissed me off with Nikki Haley, because she's like a Republican Hillary Clinton to this day. The Democrats, there were people that didn't want to vote for Biden and didn't want to vote for Trump. They went into primaries to vote for Nikki Haley just so they can say, oh, well, at least I voted. You should never showed up. It's okay to not show up. I'm tired of you Democrats with this, oh, I got to vote, or don't show up, or vote for a third party candidate. Don't show up to the primary. If you don't show up, it shows them just how bad of a performance they're doing. The Democrats need an autopsy of their elections. They need to look at what they're doing. They need to be. They have to reflect, and they can't reflect if they're always getting what they want and pressuring you to go and vote some kind of way. Like, like it. Like you get what I'm saying? It does.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, these suburban people, they live in a different reality. Just the same callousness that they show towards Palestinians, they show to the people here.
Yep.
And I think that is really what can bring it home to people and expose their lies. Like you think they're doing what's right over there. Look at what they're doing to us here. And that's
Right.
I think that's a good way of helping to convince people and promote international solidarity with working class and oppressed people here and oppressed people around the world.
Yeah, because it's very important. We like Dust just said something important. People on TikTok, thank you so much for the likes. We got over 1,000 likes. Nice, thank you so much for the likes. Keep the likes going. But what you said was very, very important because I said this earlier today too, that what happens overseas is always a reflection from here. And for examples for people to understand, when it came to oil, why are we having such an issue with oil? Price gouging, all these things. Why are we having all these issues? Why are the reserves for oil are tapped out? I believe they're tapped out now. They said there was 2 weeks left last month, so I'm pretty sure the oil reserves are tapped out. Why are we having all this extreme issues? Why is money being printed at a fast pace, and now we have all this inflation, price gouging, all these things? Because they need to fund war. And they make money off of war. They want to keep the money from the war. They want to keep the money from poverty, just like Dust said, and colonialism. They want to keep all that money and be wealthy at the expense of our.
I want to touch on inflation because the media, the Fox News, the right wing, even the liberals, what do they like to blame inflation on? Oh, it's because you got a bailout. Oh, it's because you want to raise the wage. Oh, it's because it's because 29% on credit cards is not enough interest, and there's too money out there. But in reality, under the CARES Act, there was a bipartisan push to give trillions of dollars, literally trillions of dollars, to the richest banks and corporations in the United States. And if you look at how much money is put in the economy, just printed into the military industrial complex, if we look at the money that's put in the community from the pigs, that are out there to further tax and repress us, it's a drop in the bucket. The money given to us that is blamed for inflation is a drop in the bucket, and compared to what they're spending on war, military, police, and corporate bailouts.
Right.
That caused the inflation. That's what caused inflation. Not the teacher getting paid. Not people on food stamps. Not the Child Credit Act that they should have extended and kept people out of poverty.
Right. Yeah. That's so true. It's because of look at Ukraine, for example. Ukraine is in debt now. They're ours. That's what that means. When we give that much money to a country, I'm not even gonna say we. When this government gives that money to a country,
the imperialists, that's important.
They
get your priorities straight, know where you stand. I don't say we. I ain't saying what people say, like, oh, they invaded us. I got 3/4 of an acre. They came on my what land do I own, man? They invaded us. They want how do our freedom get over there, man? I just
yeah, right. So the imperialists, when they give that much money to a country, you are a colony at this point. They own your ass. Ukraine is a colony now to the United States because Ukraine's not gonna be able to pay all that back, and there's no way in hell Zelensky's going to even want to pay all that back because he's a billionaire now. So it's like Zelensky got the cash. It's like Peru as well too. We give all this money to Peru. we own Peru. We own you. The imperialists own your ass now. So at the end of the day, you don't get a say. We put a
Well, they
dictator
own us
in.
too.
Yeah, right.
How many of us got mortgages, credit card balances? Either you're broke and got absolutely no money. We got the working poor and the
Thank you
indebted
for the
class.
roads. Yeah,
And that's it. They say 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That means you fall in one of those two categories. The vast majority of people fall in one of those two. Either you have no access to credit and you got nothing, and you're sitting there starving or depending on diminishing public resources that are available, or you're in high amounts of debt and you're
Right.
forced to work in jobs to pay off that debt, and you just keep getting in debt every day of your life,
for the badge.
and you never get out of that hole. They got us by the balls. We got no choice but to work
Right.
these. We Americans are one of the most overworked people in the world.
Yes, we are.
We have absolutely.
we are.
We got less than. If you got a good job, you got 3-4 weeks vacation. I think I got a week of vacation, and I got a trade. People ain't got no vacation, can't afford a vacation. They're constantly keep us on the hamster wheel, exploiting us and getting us to pay interest on resources we overpaid to begin with that were crappy at that. They can't even produce and give us any a standard of living here.
And if you got a union like UAW, they're going to blame you. They're going to say it's your fault that it's hard because you guys want to unionize. You guys wanted to get more of the pie. Oh, but don't you, Mr. Imperialist, Mr. Capitalist, sir? Don't you get more of the pie? Wow.
The United Auto Workers is an institution for the working class in this country. I would say that soul music was made possible by the UAW, from black people being able to buy records and oppressed people being able to buy art that they enjoyed, created and financed that cultural capital that was given to the world to enjoy. And that was because of the labor movement. That was because of black workers with the ability to invest in what they want to invest in through the union that was fought for. And you got the revolutionary Dodge movement. You got the Dodge Revolutionary movement, which was the revolutionary detachment of that. Like, we owe a lot to the United Auto Workers. A lot of I was down here delivering to an aluminum plant, and I had this reactionary older white gentleman, and he went in there. He's like, man, these people, I always got to wait here a long time because these people got a union, and they got to take their break, and they never want to unload me like they should unload him immediately. And I said, well, why do you keep coming back to this steel company? And I'd be like, because they pay the best. And he said, they pay the best to drivers. So not only does the United Auto Workers Union and the steel and the aluminum union get those workers in the factory, they got stuff within their contract to help pay the drivers out. And then all these other auto manufacturers in the South who are not unionized, and they brought them down to the South so they weren't unionized. The reason why their wages are as high as they are is because of the unions up north. Because those workers demand higher wages there, that is a victory for non-union workers. And you look at the post office union, UPS, all of the entire industry wide benefits when any company within that industry has a union. It raises wages across the board. So we need to, instead of being like, instead of getting jealous at other workers because they got a break, or you act like they getting paid too much, you got as good as you got it because of workers stood up and fought up, and you should be supporting them. It's in your interest to support a victory for a worker anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's important too when they talk about Memorial Day and stuff like that. I feel like the whole sole purpose of why they want you to support the troops, because that's so you could support their imperialism. And and we have already multiple times have I been sitting down with veterans and organized anti-war rallies with veterans. There's a lot of anti-war veterans out there, and the things they bring up 24/7, the veterans, oh, our healthcare is underfunded. We're not getting the proper healthcare. Not the their pensions become issues. They homelessness. They are literally high on a high percentage in homelessness, and it's like you go overseas and you commit these crimes for the corporate America. You give your life under the guise that you are freeing us, and then you come home and you don't even get the respect to have health care. You don't get the respect to have a guaranteed home to live in, to put your head under after you have given your life. So people in Washington and Silicon Valley can have the money that they have. Like,
I mean, that's the milit's the need to get recruits to maintain this massive world presence is part of the reason why we don't have free education, healthcare, housing. They hold the things we produce over our heads and then make our children go and kill other people and to get those. And the people that do kill to get those don't even get the promised rewards in the first place. So, I mean, Memorial Day is a touchy subject because a lot of people, have family members that were pressured into that. People are constantly brainwashed. And I think there's a real danger of giving into the memorialization, which promotes the lie. We cannot do that. We cannot give into the lie that soldiers are protecting us, protecting our freedoms, protecting our country. They are not. And a lot of people say, well, why are you attacking the troops when you're saying that? Are you taking that from it? And the answer is no, I'm not attacking them. Actually, on the contrary, to continue to promote the lies that convince people to continually join the military and die and get PTSD is doing a disservice to the soldiers, not pointing out the reality that they're lied to. We need to do that. We need to tell everyone the military does not fight for us. They fight for the corporations against their interest. And if you go into the military, if you're a woman, you have a 3/4 likelihood of facing sexual assault, rape. These things have been covered up. You will be deployed. You may have PTSD. Like, I mean, we look at the Chicano soldiers. We look at Vanessa Guillen, whose rape was covered up in the military. This is the way that even people within the military are treated horribly. And we got to come out and say that there's horrible things in the military, and the military does not fight for us. But at the same time, we're not angry that they are getting, the little bit we produce. We're not mad they have college or maybe they got health care. We want health care and college for all workers, not because they went off and killed for the capitalist, but because we produce these things and is from our labor the society is run, and we should enjoy those fruits of our labor, and every worker should have health care, education, a decent wage, and a decent standard of living. From the basis of their work. Yeah, from the base of their work, not service to empire.
Right. And that's where I was leading to on that with Memorial Day, because I'm like, we need to also acknowledge, which I think, May Day is what we actually do it with. Acknowledge how we got the 40-day work weekend. I mean, the 40-day work week. Acknowledge how we are actually having a 5-day work week. For us, so for some people, it's longer than that, but on average, it's a 5-day work week where you get the weekends off. All that was fought for. People died just for that in America. Or we would have ended up like South Korea, where you got this crazy buffoon that's talking about 80-hour work week. 80-hour fucking work week. It's insane.
I was when I was over the road, man, I worked 6 days a week. Had worked 80-90 hours a week. Now I'm home, and I took a big pay cut. Now I'm working 50-60 hours a week. It's crazy. An 8-hour day. You think about the heyday markers in the late 1800s fighting for an 8-hour day. And this
Right.
is where we are now.
Oh, they'll be pissed.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
They'll be bad. They're
Yeah,
like, this is
and
what I
everything
died
we
for?
fought, everything, yeah, everything that we have was fought for and died for by working class people, and especially the
Right.
oppressed workers have been leading those union struggles.
Right, exactly. Sacrificing their bodies just for just to be respected, you know, just to have a decency of a way of living. You know what I mean? Like they don't bring that up. They don't. No, they want you to believe the fairy tale that America's overseas bombing people for freedom. We're giving them democracy. We don't even have democracy here, but we're giving them democracy. Dust, tell my TikTok audience about your show and everything, though.
Yeah, I'm Dust James, Marxist Leninist truck driver. I run a few chat groups on various social medias that people can hook up with on Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Basically, it ain't about me. It ain't about my ego. It's about connecting other working class anti-imperialists to support each other's work and engage in positive discussion to understand what's going on in this country and around the world from other working class people.
Yeah. And Dust is from North Carolina, which is my second home. Shout out to all my Pine Top relatives and my Asheville parents over there. Of all places, they moved to Asheville. I don't like. I'm like, bro, y'all could have went to Pine Top, Rocky Mount. That's where we're at. But they went to Asheville. Like, that's far from everybody. Like,
hey, I gotta head out. I gotta put my hard hat
right.
on, walk through this road, and ride the motorcycle home. All right, you have a good
All
day.
right.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Dust. I really, really appreciate it. So everybody, that was Dust James. I'm gonna put the link in the description so people could go and follow him. Yeah, like I put an open out invitation for people that I know in the journalists and also in the activist realm. So I was really, really, I'm really, really appreciative that he came on and rapped with us for a little bit, because Dust definitely is one of those people that, you know, gives you a full taste, a full understanding of what actually is socialism, what actually is standing up for the working class, you know, here and abroad. You know what I mean? This is why we as socialists pay very, very, very much attention to imperialism, just as much as we pay very, very, very much attention to domestic politics here in the United States, because the importance is to understand that the reason why there is so much hardship happening here and oppression happening here, because it connects with the oppression and hardship that happens overseas, especially when you live in the belly of the beast of an imperialist country. It's designed to have poverty. Poverty isn't like natural. It's man-made. The reason why there's poverty is because that community is being exploited. That's the reason why. And they're not reaping the benefits of being exploited. There's a reason why there's a ghetto. There's a ghetto because the government doesn't want to incentivize to make sure that everybody has housing and to make sure that everybody has equitable housing, because they're too busy spending money overseas for wars. The ghetto was designed. And in fact, it was designed through the highway system as well, too, through the redlining district. I don't want to get academic on that, because I could talk about that all freaking day, actually, because I had to write paper on that in school. But I think going back to Palestine, and people on TikTok, thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the roses. I really, really appreciate it. Keep it going. I'm going to be on here for the next 20 minutes. Please keep it going. We got new messages right here. And anybody in the comment section here on Facebook, Twitter, let's look at the comments real quick. I put some up, but I want to look at what Miguel wrote, because I think it's very, very important. All right. This is the one I like to see. An extremist settler leader who had ignited violent riots against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. So yeah, we're not even talking about the West Bank. That's the crazy part. It is so insane what's going on that the West Bank can't even be mentioned. Over 300 people, I think it's 400 at this point. I gotta recheck. You got these Zionists going out into the street with guns because this dude named Ben Gavir, who was a part of the Likud party, he's a cabinet member and he's a freaking terrorist. Let me tell you straight up, that dude has very, very genocidal tendencies towards Palestinians. He makes Bibi Netanyahu look like a moderate. Like, this is how dangerous this man is. And there's a weapons factory here in Connecticut that there was a protest at a few months ago. Check out my interview with Nika on Spotify or whatever platform that you listen to your podcast. I interviewed this person named Nika, who was an activist here in New Haven and a Yale grad. And she's from Iran. She's an awesome person. She talked about, we had a conversation about the protests at the weapons manufacturer. They were the ones that were sending thousands of weapons to Israel, and it was getting into the hands of civilians, Zionist settlers, and they were wreaking havoc all over the fucking West Bank, terrorizing Palestinians. There's a settlement that's being built over there that you see. I saw I saw flyers of an auction. They were auctioning off people's homes, people's land in the West Bank, off the new acquired land. They brought the auction to America. There was one auction in fucking New Jersey, and they were auctioning off people's land. That's insane. And we can't even talk about the West Bank because of how extreme it is in Rafah right now. How extreme it is in Gaza. We can't even touch on that. There's so much going on. There's over 3,000 people that just been put into their detention centers. And Israel is the only country that put fucking kids into concentration camps, into freaking camps, bro. And they grow up in prison. They never get charged. And if they do charge, it was a charge for a rock, for throwing a freaking rock at a tank. You got a tank, but you scared of a kid with a rock. That's cap. Let me tell you something, bro. There's a lot going on in the West Bank that's just not being covered because of what's happening in Gaza. It's freaking crazy. It's absolutely nuts. I am astounded at all the information that I am receiving about what's going on over there. And it's showing also that there's a lot of protests as well too. A lot of protests going on in Israel because they know, for instance, here we go. We got another comment. It's crazy, incredible how they've been enduring this treatment for decades. Yeah. Oh God, that's so factual. For 75 years, it's been like this. Ever since the British came through and was like, hey, we're going to help y'all out. It's been like that for 75 years. And what's really, really crazy is that, I don't know how people are so. I'm not talking about the people that are pro-Israeli. I don't know how they can feel so proud of still supporting this with everything, all this information that's going on, all this information. And clearly it's because I'm not fully seeing the other side. You could say that. But at the end of the day, when I see kids getting murdered, I'm seeing kids getting murdered. And I thought, people were about save the children, right? That's why I hear people in America always yelling, right? Save the children. But you don't want to save the children overseas that's being unjustly killed in a genocide. It makes absolutely no sense to me. This dude has an arrest warrant. ICC issued arrest warrants out for Hamas leadership and the Likud party leadership. and he called them anti-Semitic. They tried to lock everybody up on both sides that was involved with the October 7th attack, but you calling them anti-Semitic just because you got an arrest warrant. You're a child, BB, a child. BB Netanyahu, you are a freaking child, bro. When you get locked up, no one's gonna miss you. Everybody, your own people can't even stand you right now. They don't like you. Your wife, she gonna go to jail too. Like, bunch of fucking criminals. Like, criminals. y'all are criminals. Like, this is insane. People are defending criminals. Uh-oh. Looks like I just got in trouble. I just got in trouble on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, and Facebook. I knew that was going to get me in trouble, but we're still here, right? So I can prove, like, dude, like, it's messed up. So June 5th is where I'm banned. Yep, I just got in trouble on TikTok, Miguel. It just happened, Miguel. I just got banned on live streams. It says that it says the reason of the violation reason is hate speech. It's clearly not hate speech to YouTube, X, and Facebook. Clearly not hate speech to 3 different platforms, but it's hate speech to TikTok. Oh God, that's hilarious. Whatever. That's fine. It's perfectly fine, bro. Yeah, literally, Miguel. Thank you. Telling the truth is hate speech now. Where was the lie? Somebody please, like, tell me where was the lie. There is an arrest warrant out for him and his boys and Hamas. He was in prison before he got reelected. Wasn't he? Was he already in jail? Like, come on, man. Come on. Whatever, TikTok. That's what I get. That's what I get. It's all right. It's actually kind of funny. Wow. Anyway, let's talk to you guys. I'm gonna have some TikTok people probably message. Yep, I'm already getting the messages. Hey, what happened? What happened, guys? I got freaking banned again. That's what happened. Oh my God, this is hilarious, dude. Oh, I gotta tell my TikTok agent. Oh my God, this is funny. How was that hate speech? All right, anyway. So I want to show a video real quick. I know I mentioned Pierce Morgan. That's crazy. I stay getting in trouble. It's like, can I just not get in trouble? Like, can we just have a good day? Like, I haven't went live on TikTok in like a week now, and I'm supposed to like go live every single day, but I knew this was going to happen. That's why I was hesitant to even do it. Like, I knew this was going to happen. I hope I still get my donations. I hope I still get my money because people gave me some money. You know what I mean? Like, let's see. Did they still let me have my money? I don't think I got my money, guys. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, one last thing I wanted to talk about real quick before I end this live stream and get into more trouble. because let's just not pretend that Facebook and X is like not banning people neither, because they damn straight are. Let's see. We had and that this never happened, guys. I apologize. There we go. I muted it. All right. So we have this election going on. I want to talk about the Libertarian Caucus. That's what I want to talk about real quick. We're going to talk about the Libertarian convention that just happened yesterday, because I want to give some thoughts on the candidate Trump and the candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. So Robert Kennedy, let's start with him. I'm having some issues getting up the video I wanted to get up, so let's talk about it. Robert Kennedy Jr. is, he comes from a very powerful, very well-known family, the Kennedys. Hence, he's literally Robert Kennedy's son, and the Kennedys that are alive today, the surviving Kennedys. I'm not joking, but like a lot of them like got killed, bro. Like, so the surviving Kennedys, they don't like him. He got family drama. They don't like him at all. And the crazy part is that like Robert Kennedy, he sounds sane until two things that I think he needs an autopsy on his campaign. I think the reason why he's not as popular as he is, I think that he could have been a candidate, a very powerful candidate, a very strong, powerful candidate. I'm gonna give him that. He could have been, but what destroyed him was his views on vaccines and also his blatant bias support of Israel. I think that's what's killing his campaign. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's still popular. He's still popular. He's still going to be the guy. He's still going to be the guy." But like, of course, I'm not voting for him. And why do you, I'm voting? I'm voting for Claudia Dela Cruz, of course. But why am I not voting for Robert Kennedy Jr.? One, he gives a anti-imperialist stance, with this America First also saying that. But did you support Israel? That's contradictory. You're saying, okay, I want us to work on our issues here in this country, and I want us to dedicate our time on solely the issues here in this country. But we got to support Israel and give them billions of dollars. Does that not sound like a contradiction? Like, am I crazy to think that doesn't sound like a contradiction? You can't say two things at once. You cannot say that you support building up America only and then saying, oh, but we also got to send aid to another country. No, that's a fallacy. The vaccine thing I take issue with as well too. Like, I mean, especially like what my people went through with the vaccines, and then you learn about the polio and how that was eradicated with vaccines, and like the things that science has improved. You know what I mean? Yes, Moderna was made in like 2 days, but they spent like a year to test it and all stuff like that. I am not a I'm not a I don't base my politics off of religion. I base them off of scientific. I'm a scientific Marxist. I'm a scientific Marxist Leninist. Like, I don't delve into these like conspiracies. So people could probably tell me that I'm biased because of that. Okay, that's fine. But also, I have seen the impact of vaccines. And yes, I think there are very good questions to ask about the current COVID vaccines. But to be anti-vaccine, like, and I don't even think Robert Kennedy is anti-vaccine. When I remember when he's saying, I think that he just criticized them very, very much, especially the COVID vaccine. But to the public, they don't see that. They think that you just don't like vaccines. That's what the public's going to see. So that's just not going to go well if you run for president. And that's what happened. They hit him with that, and then he makes it worse. After he's already being, because I was defending him. I was like, he wasn't running for president for the vaccines. He was running for president to actually change the country. Read his platform, all right? Read his damn platform. He's not talking about vaccines. But he killed his momentum when he started capping for Israel. Like, I feel like he could have survived. I feel like he could have made it a lot further if he didn't start capping for Israel. Israel is what's putting a nail into his campaign coffin. And I think he needs to take some serious time when this is all over and to actually realize that I was wrong about Israel. I don't care about the campaign. Maybe he could realize what hopefully he learns that that's part of the reason why his campaign is not going well. But you were wrong about Israel. And as a Kennedy, I am very offended that your Kennedy ass is supporting a settler colonial state because your uncle didn't. Your uncle didn't. Your brother didn't neither. And they were Irish. Those are proud Irish people there. They know what colonialism looks like. They were colonized themselves by the damn Anglo-Saxons. And then you take your Kennedy name ass and you go on that platform and you support Israel. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That is cap. Straight up cap. And you get an L for that. Another Zionist, Trump. Trump came to the libertarian Trump came to the libertarian convention. I want to get a video up on that actually because he got booed, bro. He got booed. And like I think they only cheered when he said that he was going to free his name. You're going to hear his name when I play it. I think they only cheered when he said that he was going to free. I can't even think of his name right now. Jesus, can't even think of his name, guys. But here we go. Let's get the Trump speech up real quick. Libertarian speech. This was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I was very shocked. I think also Biden should have been there, but we know how he runs campaigns. He does the I'm not gonna show up approach, or if I do show up, it's going to be like a month out. That's what Biden does, and that's the other criticism with Biden as well too, because he basically has the nerve to try to act like he's the best result, and you can't even, like, my guy, like, you can't even freaking like show up to things that are happening to people in America, like Hawaii, for instance. The talented people start seeing that as well too. Let's watch.
There has never been a group of people treated so harshly or Well, in the last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things. So if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian now.
Cap.
And unlike Joe Biden, I don't throw people in jail for disagreeing with me. I don't do that.
That's a lie. He put Julian Assange in jail.
DeRoy wrote, Donald J. Trump.
And maybe it wasn't because he put him in jail because, you know, they wanted him because Obama went after him too. But like, that's an example that
National Convention on Saturday.
Oh, sorry.
The Libertarian Party should nominate. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Thank you, DeRoy. Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting you 3% every 4 years.
This was look, he trolling them now, and they invited you. You came to their show and you talk about how they don't ever win. That's crazy. It's crazy. That guy Trump, man, you don't know what he's gonna say when he pulls up. Don't know. He about to say some shit. That's what that means. Like, yo, he about to go in. That was disrespectful, telling them that, oh, you only pull in 3% votes and stuff like that, man. Like, by the way, yeah. Yeah, he was trolling them because they were booing. Yeah, I know, Miguel, but like, I shouldn't laugh about this hard, but like, that was just like, of all responses you make because they're booing you, you attack them at their core. You go, oh, that's why you never win. You only get 3%. Oh God, that was a burn. That was a good burn, man. That was a good burn, not gonna lie. But hey, look, whatever. I'm gonna let them. I'd rather them vote third party than to vote your ass or Biden's ass back into office. Like the hell, he's probably gonna win anyway because Biden's approval rating has been consistently. Like it got even worse when the genocide started happening all over again. So it's like the Democrats, they really just don't get it. And that's why I'm scratching my head because this type of topic stresses me out. And the only reason why I don't like talking about elections, I like to go delve into like grassroots politics with talking about police brutality work and nonprofit building for and building the movement. I like to talk about that. I like to talk about imperialism as well too. I think it's important to talk about the country and stuff. Elections, American elections, I hate covering. I freaking hate covering American elections. I hate it. It's annoying because they're all just pieces of craps that get together and they either go blue or they go red and then they fuck us over no matter what's the result. They fuck us over. At least when I'm covering a Brazilian election, there's actually a dude there that actually wants to change. And when he gets in office, like Lula, who I'm talking about, Lula gets in office and you see the actual like changes that he's trying to do. You know what I mean? It's not like you're getting sold a dream saying we're going to do this for you. You're going to do like Bernie Sanders. And then all of a sudden, nope, don't Bernie Sanders. Nope. No Bernie Sanders. You don't get a Bernie Sanders. You know why? Because we don't want to give our money away. That's why. I hate covering U.S. elections. I do not like covering U.S. elections because it's just depressing and it's boring and it's awful. It's boring because you get excited for a candidate and you know what's going to be the outcome. Yeah, Bernie was a horrible. Yeah, Miguel. Bernie was a disappointment. Straight up. Bernie was a straight up disappointment. And he ran again I was already radical after that. So when he ran again, I was just like, dude, yeah, okay, whatever. And that's why. And I spent a lot of time in the grassroots movement before I joined the PSL. I spent a lot of time in the grassroots movement with the Democrats. I spent a lot of time believing in their bullcrap. A lot of time. I did all the doggone canvassing, getting people signed up to vote, being optimistic about democracy when we live in the goddamn republic. I hate elections here in the United States. I hate it. Speaking of elections, Zelensky's term is supposed to have ended, and he's still president because they had to suspend elections. Wait, Miguel, let's see. Bernie wanted to prove George W. Bush wrong. We could be fooled. We can be fooled twice. Exactly, yo. Yeah. Oh yeah, that speech he gave, like you get fooled, can't get fooled again. That's another funny ass war criminal. That war criminal was hilarious. He's not as funny as the other war criminal Trump, but he's hilarious. That guy Bush was a funny guy, man. He killed 1 million people overseas too, and he just walking around. Yeah, walking around like nothing happened after you killed 1 million people overseas. Nice. That's an old imperial flex right there to get that age, and do all that nonsense, and then you're not getting no repercussions. Fucking war criminal. I cussed a lot in this live stream, and I apologize, but it's very, very sad, like the way things are turning out right now. To like think that there were people like before October 7th, for example, that were just straight up like with the hoopla. Biden is the guy. We got to use him. I mean, you had people in the mainstream news and also on the YouTube as well too, trying to defend. We're going to vote for Biden. We're going to, and that's why I was like, I hate covering freaking elections because it's just bull crap. And then October 7th happened, and now Biden's pissed because no one's really wanted to vote for him. Nobody really wants to like fuck with him right now. Nobody. Because dude, you're funding a genocide and you don't get that shit, do you? Like you don't, like he doesn't get it in his head, bro. Like, but has he ever? This is the same guy that like 40 years ago saying that he didn't want black people on the same bus with white people. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Come on. Make it make sense, bro. If he was like that before, what do you think he is now? What do you think he is now? He's a conservative. He's a moderate. He's not the left. And then you got people calling him a socialist? That's disrespectful to me. I get offended when I hear that. Oh, he's a socialist? What? Oh my God. And they're calling this the left. The Democrats are not the left. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. The Democrats are more like centrists. They're like moderates. Bernie Sanders is definitely a moderate. Look, there's socialist programs in Europe that like everybody around the world has more and more of a conscience to say, hey, I want free healthcare. Europe's like, yeah, sure. America's like, oh, no. But just because that politician supports free healthcare doesn't mean he's a socialist. Bernie still was complicit with the imperialism. I mean, hell, it took him a minute to understand Israel. He still doesn't get Israel at all right now. But Bernie is not a leftist. He's a moderate. So if Bernie's a moderate, what do you think Joe Biden is? Joe Biden is straight up right wing motherfucker. He's God, like I hate when they call Democrats the left. They're not the left. And yes, it's like not just the left. They call them the radical. Like they call them the radical left. The shit I be doing out here in the streets, not radical more. Like I get offended. Like they're radical. They're radical. We just blocked the damn highway. But they're radical. They're radical. We just literally stormed into the city hall and demanded a CRB. And then we came back consistently and demanded it. But they're radical? They're funding the police. How much money did the Democrats drop for the DHS? How much money did the Democrats drop for the police departments? A lot. How much money do they give every single year to the police departments and the FBI, the CIA, Ukraine? How much money do they give to the military industrial complex? But the Democrats are radical? That vexes me, bro. That vexes me. But I don't want to hold anybody else's time. This was a great live stream, even though I got banned off of TikTok. Live streams. It said that I could come back June 5th. So for people that were listening and moved over here, or if you're following me from TikTok and stuff like that, I'll be back on the live. I'll still be doing the TikTok videos. I'll still be doing TikTok videos, and be informative on those as well too. And so I'm going to definitely just have that until June 5th. But everybody else, please like, share, subscribe. Again, this is a working class. This is a working class funded platform. So definitely, if you like what you're hearing, please like, share, and follow, and definitely donate on my Cash App. Shouts out to the donations. Shouts out to the support from people. Definitely donate on my Cash App. And if you want to donate also, please, this is more important than my freaking Cash App. This is more important than this show. Please, right there below in the description, donate to POW Crisis, POW Relief Crisis. Their page is on IG, and they also got a page on TikTok. They help get food, supplies, everything they can to people in Rafah right now. They have been in Rafah since this started. They have been in Rafah. They have helped over 100,000 families, probably definitely a lot more than that. These are tents that are being bombed by Israel. And not only do I talk about what's going on, not only do I continue to join these marches and coalitions and apply pressure where pressure needs to be applied in my region, but also I definitely want to always plug in that people should be going to POW Relief Crisis on Instagram. Donate. Your donation goes directly to these volunteers here in Gaza, and they'll be able to buy and bring more supplies in. There's ways that they can bring it in. I know not all the supplies gets in, but at least we can try to keep pushing and making the effort. Support all these fundraisers, support all these organizations that are sending the right way. If it's like Israeli and they're saying we're taking funds, I wouldn't trust that, because there's a huge, which I should make an episode about, of how much money Israel steals from Palestine. So definitely, please donate to POW Relief Crisis. And don't forget to be innovative. Like my friend Tony says, be innovative and free thinking. I think we need to keep saying that. You know what I mean? Like, because I think it's very, very important when you look at what's going on in the world and you look at the clear lies and narratives that is being portrayed to you on your phone. by these billion-dollar corporations like CNN and Fox News, and it's totally different from what you're seeing on TikTok, what you're seeing on Instagram, on what they allow you to see on Instagram, or what they allow you to see on Facebook and all that stuff like that. You're seeing a different picture. And if we had camera phones in the United States, if we had camera phones in the United States in the 1700s, we would have been seeing so many similarities on what's going on in Rafah, in West Bank, in Palestine. And Palestine must be free. We'll see so many similarities. And that's why the Native Americans show so much solidarity, and so many indigenous people across the world show so much solidarity for Palestine. So much. And what happened at that camp was very, very awful. Very, very awful. But I don't want to go more into it because I already went too long on the live stream. I want to thank Dust James for coming on the show as well too, and rapping with me. And I'm gonna try to keep doing this. Tomorrow I have a guest. It's going to be an interview about the Congo, what's going on in the Congo. I finally found somebody that I could talk about the Congo with. I don't have that many connections as much as the connections I do have. So it was very, very difficult. So I'm very, very happy. Dust James was the one that provided the information out of the blue. So I don't even think he knew that I was looking for somebody that could talk about the Congo, talk about Sudan, talk about Burkina Faso. So I'm very, 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 very excited for that interview tomorrow, and it's going to be at 5:30. 5:30. So I'm gonna make sure I give reminders out. 5:30 interview. 5:30 interview. That's going to be live too. And then also what's coming out tomorrow is Aura's, in my interview with Aura on the music coverage. She's a musician, and then I have another musician coming on this weekend as well too. So look out for that. Well, so we're just gonna keep moving. Keep on going. And I'm very, very happy about these connections. So thank you so much for joining the live stream. Thank you, Miguel, for those also comments that you had. And until we meet again, have a good day.